Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Cozy Books and Knits. I'm Eleanor. It's lovely to meet you if we've not met before. If we have, nice to see you again. I'd love it if you grabbed a cup of something and came and got cozy with me. Today I'm drinking a nice cup of coffee and I am going to chat to you about all of the projects that I didn't finish in 2024. So I've done a video on all of the projects I did finish in 2024 and I realised that there are just as many that I didn't finish. And I wanted to talk to you about them and work out what projects we think I should finish and which ones aren't worth it and that I should frog. I think given that 2024 was my first full year of knitting, I got so excited by all of the projects that I could work on that I just kept casting on, and as the seasons changed I again just kept casting on, and because there were so many different things that I was excited to work on, I didn't finish a lot of projects. And I think I started a lot of projects and by the time I got quite far through them I'd grown as a knitter. I'd learned a lot about fibre and construction and the way I like things to fit. So they came out not quite right, or that there would be things that I would change if I were to cast them on again. So they kind of languished, and now I need to work out what ones I do want to finish, what ones I want to frog, which ones I want to re-knit, and which ones I can alter if possible. So without further ado, let's go through them. I think I have 10 projects on my list. And I finished 11 projects, so that's great. I mean, there were 11 projects on this list, but I have already finished one, so that one doesn't count. So we are saying that I finished more projects than I left unfinished in 2024, which is good going, I reckon. So the first thing I'm going to start with is quite a simple one, and that is simply a sock where I got hit with second sock syndrome. This is a self-drafted pattern because it's basically just one up from a vanilla sock, but it's just a broken rib textured hand-dyed sock. I love this colour. It's like a pinky beigey sort of variegated mix, and I love this stitch, so I can't tell you why I didn't finish these, except for the fact that I just got a bit of cast-on-itis when I first started knitting socks, and there were so many different ones that I wanted to knit that apparently I never came back and finished the second one of these. But I really do want to, because they're really soft and squishy socks. I love the colour, so that is a definite finish. And I don't have any excuses for this one. I just got second sock syndrome, moved on and never came back to it, so I feel like I need to pull these out and just finish this sock. The second one is another pair of socks, and this one is one of the Flower Garden socks by Charlotte Stone, and this one, as you can see, I've already taken it off the balls because I definitely am going to frog this one. It is a beautiful all over colour work floral design, and I actually test knit this one and I loved the pattern, but I just hadn't really got the hang. I'm just not happy with my tension. That's all it is. I'm not happy with my tension. It's been a little while of me knitting colourwork socks now that I've been trying to work out the best method for me, because I don't like magic loop, and I had been using DPNs, but with DPNs I find it really difficult to get the tension right across the joins of the 4 needles. I always end up sort of carrying stitches across those, and that means I can't get the length of the floats right. But I've been working on a pair of colourwork socks recently on my 9-inch circulars, and that's working so much better for me because I can just sort of stretch them out as they go and everything is so much more even. So this is a project that I will not be making the other sock. I only had to do one for the test knit, and I unravelled the toe because it just wasn't fitting right. But I yeah, I think I will be, and I also did not do a very good job of this. I think it was a short row heel, and I did not do a very good job of that. So essentially I learned a lot whilst doing this sock, but I'm not happy with the quality of the finished product. So I love the design, and I'm sure I will knit. I think the thing is that this is a very sort of spring design as well, and the colours I chose were very sort of springy, but it's a thick sock with all of carrying, you know, the three colours around. It does make for a thick sock. So I feel like when it starts to get towards spring but it's still quite cold outside and I want to go for little walks and feel like a little spring fairy and wear pastel colours, that's when something like this comes in, because I do still need the warmth, but I just want the look of cute little spring summer type things. So this is going on the frog with the potential to reknit in the future, I think, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I just want to work on my tension. Whilst we're at it, I may as well just take you through the other sock projects that are on this list, and then we can look at garments, because I've got 2 more pairs of socks and then we're on to garments. Whenever I do these videos of lots of different projects and I'm sort of whipping wool around the place, my face gets so like covered in little wool fibres and it's just irritating my nose. It happens every single time. Right, so this next project I'm going to talk to you is something I do really want to make work. So it's quite hard to show again. This is a pair of the Mudo socks by the Petite Knitter, and as you can tell I have one with no heel and one with a heel. The problem is, and I knit all of the colour work on these with no problems. I think my tension was pretty even, if a little tight, but the problem is they just don't fit very well, and that is because I don't get on with afterthought heels. I don't really get on with afterthought heels or German short row heels. Any of the sort of very right angled heel I don't get on with because I have a very wide instep, and so with colour work that tends to really distort the pattern, so I end up with the middle stretched right out like that and it doesn't look very good. So I've been trying to work out solutions to that so I can still knit lovely all over colour work socks but that fit me. So what I was trying to do on these ones was to knit an extra few rows before I start the decreases to give myself a little bit more space. But I just didn't really have any confidence that that was going to work, so I think I got demotivated, even though they're beautiful socks and I would love to wear them. So I think what my plan was to try this, see if it worked, and if it did, I would unravel the heel on this one and redo it with a few stitches, a few plain rows either side before I start decreasing for the heel. If you've encountered this problem, then please let me know what you've done to resolve it, because I have this time and time again. I have really wide feet and a really wide instep, so I'm often knitting the largest size in a pattern. So I think these had one size up, so I may have to do that, but then they do just end up too wide, like on the leg and the rest of the foot, so I may end up knitting like a smaller size for the leg and then trying to increase for the foot, for the heel, but that, I don't know if that will work. So I'm just stuck in this problem where I knit these really beautiful colourwork socks and then try as I might, they just don't fit, and it's because of this section here not having enough space for my wide instep. So I think with these, I really want the finished sock. I really want to wear these. I love the like mismatched and I love the pattern. It is just, oh, they're so gorgeous. I also have one stripe here that has a mistake in, which I can see, but I'm sure other people wouldn't notice, so it wouldn't be enough to make me redo them. But I want these socks, I want them so badly. I just need to make them fit. So if you have any suggestions on overcoming that sort of very right-angled heel on a all over colourwork sock, I would love to hear it, because I need to, I think when I started these I didn't have the experience to modify a pattern to make it work for me, but that's what I really need to do in some way, shape or form to make them fit, because the width is right. I mean, my tension is, you know, again, because I was just starting to knit colourwork socks, my tension is not brilliant. I found my floats get quite tight, but actually these are not, they're not too bad. They're not bad at all. It's just that heel. It's just that heel and making that work for me. So I just, yeah, I don't know whether to open the heel a bit wider, or is that going to make it worse? Or yeah, to knit more rows or do more increases or something. I'm not sure. So if you've got any tips for me, any seasoned sock knitters out there, I would love to hear, because I really want to make this pair of socks work. I am not opposed to re-knitting the whole pair of socks if it gets me a fitting pair of socks, because I love this pattern so much. And actually I said that these were the Mudo socks by the Petite Knitter, but the Petite Knitter has just changed their name to Sasky & Co. So they are the Mudo socks by Sasky & Co. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts on these ones. Do I frog them? Do I try again with the next size up? Do I just try and rework the heels? Have you got any tips on how I can rework the heels? Let me know, because I'm very, very eager for your answer. The next one is this is the last sock on this list, and it was a pair that I totally forgot that I even cast on. And that was, this is the very beginnings, I didn't even finish the first one, of the Summer Girl socks by Sari Nordland. And this is knit in Filcolana Arwetta. Actually, I didn't tell you what yarns these were. These are Drops Nord. This is Drops Nord, and this is the Emma yarns, what do they call it? Perfect. It's the Emma yarns sock, hand-dyed sock yarn. So I had a craving last summer for some bright coloured socks with little frills. So I started knitting this one. I'll put a picture up on the screen here, because you can see that when it's done it's supposed to have a frilly ankle bit, but I didn't get that far. I think the problem was I cast these on when I was in a summery mood with the want for summery colours, and then it got too hot for merino socks, so I stopped knitting on it. But this is really cute, and I totally forgot. The only thing I tend to find is that for me, Filcolana Arwetta comes out very thin. I mean, if you look at the difference here, you can barely see. But this is the Drops Nord, and this is the Arwetta. And to me, the Arwetta comes out very fine. So I wasn't sure if that would work for a pair of socks for my really wide feet, but I never even tried them on. Maybe let's do that. I'm not going to show you any toe pics here because you haven't paid for that. Yeah, they're all right actually. Yeah, I would say the Arwetta is slightly tighter than another pair, but that might be good on this pair of socks because the cuff is quite loose, because it's got a double folded cuff, I think, to give it that really polished look. I'll take this half a sock off now. I've got this cuff that's double folded, so it looks like stocking out on the outside, and then on the inside it's a 1x1 rip to give it that sort of stretch. But I do find it is quite loose. It's got this pearl ridge to later attach the ruffle to, so I think I will finish these. Again, I feel like it's the same thing with the Stone Knits tulip pair, that when it starts to brighten up and I want some bright colours, but I do still need the warmth, then will be cute, because they're going to be quite a short pair and they'll be frilly and cute, and they'll look great with like my clogs. My clogs are actually basically the same colour, so I don't know how they will look, but it'll be cute. So I think this is a finish, but it's probably fairly low priority. We'll just see if the motivation takes me. Right, now let's go into some other spring things, seeing as we're kind of on that theme. This was a spring project from last year. This is the beginnings. Oh, it's on a very small tubing, so that's not the best to show you actually. This is the beginnings of the Ingrid Summer Sweater by Gregoria Fibres. And this is also knit in Filcolana Arwetta in this lovely beigey sort of tone. This is a pattern that is supposed to be knit with cotton, but I wanted something really soft and cozy for those sort of early spring days where and like evenings where you do need a bit of warmth, but nothing too thick. And it's got this beautiful eyelet pattern, and I am not seeing why I didn't finish this now, because I feel like I got a lot of the hard part done with I'm joined in the round, so the fiddly collar and the front panels is all done. The knitting flat is done. Yeah, I think it was just the fact that this is fingering weight, and a fingering weight garment. I think I probably cast on my Tombow tee around the same sort of time, so 2 fingering weight garments was probably a little bit much. And I never have much patience. I don't think I've ever knit a full fingering weight jumper before, but this could be really peaceful. I think I also was doing a lot of eyelets at one point, so I kind of got eyeletted out. But this is really soft, it's really cute. I think for a while I wasn't sure if it was going to work in the merino rather than a cotton, but it's so like lightweight and breathable, but really cozy, that I think it would. And I think I would like to just throw this on over a dress on a cold spring or summer evening, just for a little bit of warmth. So I think this is a finish, and I think, yeah, I'll get to the point where I start to feel like I need this, and that's probably when I will finish it. It just feels really flowy and nice, and I think it would be lovely to wear. And the colour is not really my sort of usual colour, but I just wanted something really, really neutral to wear with summer dresses and skirts, because I tend to wear quite a lot of bright colours in the summer. So it's really cute. It's like a sort of greigey colour. It pulls quite grey, but it is very warm grey. So that is a finish, I think. It's just finding the motivation to knit a full fingering weight garment, but a lot of the hard work is done, so it would be a shame for that to go to waste. I love Filcolana Arwetta. It is a beautiful feeling. It's just, it feels like such a beautiful fabric that it makes, so I would like to finish this and be able to wear it, because it would be lovely against my skin. I'm going to do the next one because it's the last thing right here in my little bag of spring and summer abandoned whips. Oh god, this is a mess. Don't you just hate it when you've let a whip languish but you weren't intending to, so you didn't properly put it on hold or anything? I've dropped stitches. Oh, right, so we're going to ignore that section. This is the, oh, it's such a mess. It's such a mess. This is the Alana camisole. I can't remember the designer's name, so I'll put it up on screen, but it is this, like, I think they're 1x1 cables, all over cabled, fingering weight camisole, and it's beautiful. This is the Knitting for Olive cotton merino, and the colour of this is just gorgeous. The way it's showing up on camera is quite true to life. It's just this beautiful poppy red, this slightly orangey leaning red, and it's lovely. So I recall where I got to with this. I'd joined in the round and made some good progress on the body, and then I could do my first try on, and I realised that the straps felt a bit small. I mean, this this knitting for Olive is definitely working up at a looser gauge than, and I think I'm slightly under gauge actually. If I recall, this wasn't a very size inclusive pattern, so I didn't really have the option of going up a size, I believe. So it's a beautiful piece, and it will be beautiful when it's done. I think I just got a little bit fed up. It was at the very end of the summer when I was working on this, and I was like, do you know what, I just want to go on to some of my winter projects. I'm feeling autumnal. I don't have the motivation to sit and knit all of these tiny little cables on a project that's not doing very well for me right now. So yeah, I feel in two minds about this one, because if I lengthen this strap, I think was lengthened, I've just got it on a stitch marker holding it together, but I remember it was such a pain because I was like, oh, it'll be easy, I'll just unpick it and I'll just knit upwards, but it just wouldn't. Yeah, I think because it was top down, it wouldn't then knit upwards very easily. And actually it's really making a case. I'm usually very solid on top down for a lot of projects, but I think it's really making a case for bottom up for me for camisoles. But it's got this beautiful bust shaping as well. It would be a really beautiful piece when it's done. I just don't know if I can be bothered. I'd need, you know, probably sew more on the bottom, and to go back and fix this, and it just feels like a lot of effort, you know when you've like got out of the flow of a pattern and you can't really remember what you did. So again, I just can't decide. It's a beautiful yarn, so I mean, I think it would be working at quite a loose gauge, so it might be a bit see-through when I wear it, but also I've got really far, so I don't know. I can't decide whether I should frog this and use this lovely cotton merino to do a different top that I might enjoy more, and enjoy the finished project, and am I just scared of frogging it because of the effort that's gone in to this piece so far? And would I wear it if it was finished, or would I just be better off? Part of me feels like I would just be better off frogging this and being like, well, you learnt a lot, but you were off gauge from the start, it was never going to work, cut your losses. It's that sunken cost fallacy, isn't it, with the sunken time, I suppose, sunken time fallacy. It's hard to decide whether I want this project or whether I would rather have something else in this yarn. Maybe I will go back through my saved summer patterns and see if there's something I would like more, and think about. I'm half tempted to frog. I mean, all of these, this is a lot of effort that's gone into this. That's a lot of effort. Tiny, tiny fingering weight cables everywhere. Yeah, so I'm in two minds. Tell me what you would do. Would you frog and choose a pattern that was a bit more appropriate for the yarn? Or would you see it through because of the sunken cost fallacy and make it work? I want to know what you think. Oh, Faya has come to say hello. She hasn't. She's very reluctantly saying hello. She's running about everywhere, making a lot of chaos. Next up, we're going into this lovely little cat themed project bag now, and we have the Corin cardigan by the Cray Bear, and this is an all over lace little cardigan, and this is so cute. This is so cute, but this was a learning process. So this is knit in Drops Bell, which is a cotton and linen mix, and it was the first time I'd worked with cotton or linen, and I know the reason I gave up on this, and it was because I started the sleeves. I realised when I was joining the body, I think, that I'd been knitting one section. There was one, that was it, is that one of my front edges I'd been knitting all wrong and the pattern had kind of got out of sync. So when I come to do the button band, I think that will be slightly difficult, but nothing I can't make worse. But I think I was just a bit annoyed at myself for missing that point in the pattern where I would do edges that would make it easy to join the button band. So it's going to be a little bit of a pain, but again, I don't think it's worth undoing the whole project, because I think this was the project that made me say, oh, I'm eyeletted out. But it's so cute. It's so cute. I think I was going to do this long sleeve with the V-neck, or is this the round neck? This might be the round neck version. But I'm half tempted to do a little short sleeve one now, actually. But I wanted it to throw over dresses and stuff in the evening, in the summer. And again, I think that was part of the reason why I didn't finish it, was because I ran out of time, and I seem to only have the motivation to work on things that I'm gonna wear like at that time, which is really silly because I need to start things earlier. I need to knit for spring before spring starts. I need to knit for summer before summer starts. I'm just starting a bunch of like thick winter garments as well, knowing that in a couple of months, well, I think I've got time. As long as I get on with it, I'll be fine. But I always end up knitting for the season that I'm in, because that's what I'm motivated to work on, and then I ran out of time. But this pattern is beautiful. This all over lace is just stunning. The drop spell feels really lovely and light. I mean, look at the drape on it. It's beautiful. So the reason I stopped knitting this was because the sleeves. I tried Magic Loop and I hate Magic Loop. I am a passionate Magic Loop hater. I will not knit Magic Loop. And I tried. I started on Magic Loop and I hated it and I couldn't make it work. So then I went to DPNs. But with this eyelet pattern, I couldn't make the DPNs work because I was getting yarn overs that would go between the joins. So unless I wanted to like readjust my needles every single time to make sure that the yarn overs weren't going in there, then it just wasn't working. But for Christmas, I got a set of mini needles. So for Christmas, to combat my hate of short circumference knitting, I mean, I don't mind DPNs generally, but when I'm doing any sort of texture like cables or colour work or eyelets, lace, to have different sections of the piece of texture or colour work to be split over multiple needles and then having to navigate the join between the DPNs just doesn't work for me. So for Christmas I got the Knit Pro Ginger mini set. So as you can see, I've got one in use at the moment, but these are tiny little wooden needles with tiny little cables. Oh, that one's quite a bit big. With tiny little cables so that you can do sleeves, collars, that sort of thing, without having to do Magic Loop or faff around with DPNs. So this has changed the game for me, and all of my many projects that are languishing because of sleeves will now be finished. So I think as we start to come into spring and I start to want some lighter layers and I finish my winter knits, finishing this with these should be a doddle. Whilst we're on the Rebecca Clow train, I have another Rebecca Clow pattern here that is languishing, and that is my Lauder vest. This is an all over cable v-neck vest that I got fairly far into the body on, and I want to wear this quite cropped so I can wear it with dresses, and so I probably only need maybe that much more body and then to do the cuff. So I got far, but the problem was that I started this at the end of last winter, and then went on to my summer knits, so I thought I'd save it for this winter to finish it off, but I only had the one pair of 4mm needles, and I was gift knitting for my partner, so I was working on 4mm needles, so I didn't have a spare pair and I didn't want to keep going back and forth, so I said that this one would get finished after my partner's jumper, but I haven't finished that yet, so my 4mm needles haven't become available. I then got another set of needles for Christmas, and then I got a set of Leica interchangeable needles for Christmas, and I was like, this is brilliant, I've got 2 different sets of needles now, but my 4mm are broken, so I am waiting on the replacement from like it's come through on those 4mm. I think 4mm is the size I tend to knit on most often. A lot of this sort of like DK weight jumpers that I like are all 4mm. The gauge I really enjoy seems to be 4mm needles, so I could probably do with investing in another couple of pairs. I'd love some chalgu, so maybe, but I can never afford a whole set of chalgu, so maybe I'll get another couple of pairs of 4mm needles, maybe some fixed chalgus or something, to give me the flexibility of working on a couple more projects simultaneously, because that's the thing, is that I love working on projects simultaneously, and interchangeables do help that because I can just take the needles off one and put them on the other. But I like to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna work on this for 10 minutes, and then like with this one, because it's cables and it's a full cable round, it's got 6, I think they're 3x3 cables and then 2x2 cables, or 3x4 cables maybe, so it, and they're every 4 rounds, so it's quite intense. So I tend to like, I was doing like 1 cable a day and just adding to it slowly whilst then working on something stockinette. But then when both projects are 4mm, I'm not going to sit and undo the needles each time to just pick up and put down a project. So it just got hibernated whilst until my 4mm needles were available, and I think that's what's going to happen. So I really want to finish this, and I want to finish it before the sort of end of winter, because I feel like this sort of thing is really good in those in-between transition seasons between winter and spring, and the colour is really cute for that as well. This was, I believe this is Drops Lima, which is nice. I think it's a wool and alpaca blend, so it feels really lovely, this Drops Lima. I want to finish it, so I just need to get another pair of 4mm needles, and then that one can be finished. So I'm holding myself accountable here. I will get another pair of 4mm needles and I will finish this. We're now getting on to the last couple of projects, and these are ones that you've seen quite a bit recently, so I won't talk them through too much. But the first one is my Storm sweater by Petite Knit. This has had a lot of progress from my last podcast, so this is an active whip. I'm progressing. I put it down whilst I was working on my Sophie hood, which is now finished, so keep an eye out for my next podcast where I'll talk about this a little bit more, and I will talk about my Sophie hood. But this one is on the go. It is on the go. I'm kind of having to make myself carry on doing this and not knit on selfish projects for myself, because I really want to, but I'm just trying to keep myself trucking on with this a little bit slowly. I'm on to a sleeve now, which you can see my tiny little Ginger Knit Pro circulars there, which is making that job a lot more pleasant. Again, I was knitting this one before Christmas, but then I waited because I did put these on my wish list for Christmas, so I waited whilst they arrived, but I've got them now, so I need to carry on. And I've got the body on hold whilst I do the sleeves. The body is on hold because a lot of people, this is being knit in Drops Charisma, and a lot of people have told me that this grows like crazy. So I didn't want to decide on the length of the body yet, because I feel like I need to do a block. This was where a ball of wool ended, so I feel like I maybe need to do a mid-project block when I get to the ends of, or towards the end of sleeves as well, just to get an understanding of how this is going to block. I don't think my swatch grew massively, but I can't really remember, so we'll have to try that one. But yes, finishing the sleeves on this one is definitely a priority, because I would like my partner to be able to wear this sometime this winter. I don't want to finish it so he can't wear it before next winter. And this was actually his Valentine's Day present from last year, so maybe I could finish it in time for this year's Valentine's. That would be lovely. And then the very last project we have to talk about is one we've spoken about a bit, and that is my Heirloom Quilt Cardigan, which is currently in this state. I have finished all of the squares, and I've even started to seam some of them. This is one of the panels. But I hate seaming, so despite the fact that all the hard work, all the colour work is done on this, I have not finished it because I hate seaming, and that's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous because this is really pretty. And I need to sew these all together and then do sleeves, which again was one of the things that was putting me off, because I was like, oh, I have to seam, which I hate, and then I have to do sleeves, which I hate, but I won't hate the sleeves anymore. You see where we're going here? So this I won't talk too much about because I've spoken a lot about in previous podcasts, so you can check out those if you want to, but they just need to be seamed together. Button band, sleeves, bish bash bosh. So I need to stop making excuses and just sit and seam. So I feel like I need to hold myself accountable and just sit for a couple of hours whilst watching a film or something and just get these seamed, because I have no excuses on this one. Yeah, and again, this would be a lovely sort of throw over for the late winter, early spring months. It's really, really cozy. This is drop soft tweed, and it feels really, really nice. It feels like it will be lovely on the skin. So I need to stop messing around and hold myself accountable and get this finished. No excuses. Right, there we go. That brings me to all 10 of my unfinished projects from 2024. I feel like I've got a real mix in here of ones that I just need to get finished, ones that I need your opinions on, whether I should finish or frog, and ones I really need to try and work out a solution for to make them work for me. So I'd love to hear your opinions on what projects I should finish, which projects I should frog. And do you have any projects left over from 2024 that you need to finish? Because if you do, let me know down below and we'll all motivate each other to finish up our projects. So once again, thank you for joining. If you've not subscribed, I'd love it if you'd stick around. I'll have a new podcast coming for you soon. I've got lots and lots of exciting ideas for videos in the coming weeks, so it would be lovely if you stuck around. I'd love to have you. Thank you for getting cozy with me, and I'll see you soon.